Another season, but the same old VAR. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to center around a big controversial moment that occurred yesterday in Crystal Palace's and Chelsea's goalless draw at Stamford Bridge, in which there was a big controversial moment that took place early in the first half. Eberechi Eze's fantastic free kick was ruled out by VAR after the referee was told to go over to the monitor to check the goal. He then chalked the goal off for an IFAB law that a lot of us were slightly taken by surprise with, because we've never really seen this event occur before. We're going to be talking about it because I want to talk about the controversy. I want to talk about the inconsistencies and my own personal problems with this ruling and with this controversial moment. But before we get into all of that and much more, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And I also encourage you all to get involved in the comment section down below. I'm sure what you have to say will make great interest in reading on this very controversial topic. So please do get involved, use and abuse that comment section, people, and let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling about this very moment right here. Sound good? Great. Now let's get on with things, shall we? Let's get on with the conversation. Let's talk Eze, the controversial moment, the free kick, the chalking off of the free kick, and everything else in between. As I said at the top of the video, this is a brand new season, but it seemingly is the same old VAR. There's been a couple of moments across the weekend that you can maybe point at VAR and say, what the hell are you doing? You've learnt nothing from last season. And it actually kicked off on Friday night, the first game of the season. Within 14 minutes, VAR had already reared its ugly head again. The Bournemouth defender that handballed it, and it was a clear and deliberate handball. He was the last man. Ekitike was probably going to be racing away through on goal had it not been for a handball that was clear and obvious. And yet, the referee didn't do anything, and his safety net of VAR didn't do anything either. There was probably another controversial moment yesterday in the Arsenal versus Manchester United game. William Saliba bringing down Matheus Cunha in the penalty area. Nothing doing, but it did look fairly dodgy and fairly clumsy from the Arsenal defender. He can probably consider himself a little lucky that he got away with that one. There may have been one or two other moments across the weekend, but they're the two that mainly stand out. And then there is this one. For those of you who don't know, Crystal Palace and Chelsea played out a goalless draw at Stamford Bridge yesterday to kick off their brand new campaigns. But the controversial moment occurred very early in the first half. Within the opening quarter of an hour, Eberechi Eze is standing over a dead ball from a free kick that was given away by Chelsea's Marc Cucurella. Eze stepped up and absolutely thundered it home into the back of the net. It was an absolute wickedly powerful shot that beat the goalkeeper Robert Sanchez and managed to find the back of the net. Everybody was taken aback. Everybody was in awe about how incredible that free kick was. Everybody's celebrating, except Chelsea fans, of course. But the celebrations were short-lived. VAR could not wait to intervene. It could not wait to interfere and tell the referee to go over to the nearby pitchside monitor to check the goal's legitimacy. After checking it, this is what he had to say. This was the Premier League Matchday Centre putting out the tweet that the referee basically stated on the pitch to give clarity to the fans in attendance. He said, after VAR review, the referee overturned the original decision of a goal for Crystal Palace. The referee's announcement was, after review away, number 6 is less than 1 metre away from the wall as the shot is taken. Therefore, it's an indirect free kick and a disallowed goal. The law is this. The IFAB laws of the game for the 25-26 season state that where there are 3 or more defending team players from a wall, all attacking team players must remain at least 1 metre or 1 yard from the wall until the ball is in play. If, when a free kick is taken, an attacking player is less than 1 metre / 1 yard away from the wall formed by 3 or more defending team players, an indirect free kick is awarded. So I guess you could say that protocol was followed. I guess you could say that if you're really being picky with it, rules are rules. Crystal Palace rightly got their goal chalked off, and we move on. That would be fine, except I have a few problems with it. I put out a tweet yesterday in response to what the PGMOL said, and I basically stated that you can argue rules are rules, but I want to know two things from this. I want to know, number one, the consistency. I want to know if the consistency of this rule has been followed since its inception into the game in the 2019-2020 season. This rule has been around for about 6 years now, and I don't really remember this being used. Now, that's not to say it hasn't been used. Don't get me wrong. I haven't obviously watched every single game, and off the top of my head could tell you whether or not this rule has been used. It might have been. There might have been 1 or 2 examples out there of this rule being used. Fine, fair enough. But the controversy still remains of whether or not this has been thoroughly implemented by referees and by VAR throughout the entirety of its inception. And the second part I had a grievance with was that the wall is nowhere near where the ball is struck. No Chelsea defender in that wall is blocking the ball in that situation. So it's pointless. The wall is pointless in this situation because it's not doing anything other than closing down the angle. An angle which Eze doesn't use. He goes the other direction. He goes more towards Robert Sanchez's side and absolutely smashes the ball beyond the goalkeeper. The wall is irrelevant in this situation, and I feel like this has been hard done by on Palace because, again, the consistency side, which we'll come on to a little later, and the fact that the wall in this situation is irrelevant. Because unless one of their players has got a leg or a head that can stretch about 20-30 yards that way to try and block the ball, which would be dangerous anyway because of the amount of venom and power that Eze struck the ball with, the wall is not getting anything on that ball to kind of direct it away from goal. It's just not happening. So the wall is completely, in my opinion, irrelevant in this situation, which I think is why maybe the law should be somewhat amended, somewhat changed to obviously balance it out a little bit and to obviously implement this. I mean, I think the law is stupid anyway. Like, you're the attacking team. You're meant to have the advantage in an attacking free kick situation. Why you have to be 1 meter away from the wall is beyond me, but that's just the crazy footballing world we live in. Then it comes to the consistency element. And I've looked back over the free kicks of last season because Sky Sports put them all in a neat little montage. And I found a few that I'm not exactly happy with. Exhibit A. Now this one might be a little difficult to call given the angle, but that Everton player does look pretty close to the wall, doesn't he? Just throwing that out there. Exhibit B. If that's not close to the wall, I don't know what is. And the referee is staring right at it. The referee is staring right at Harry Maguire, who sticks out like a sore thumb because obviously red is right in the middle of a sea of blue. He's clearly extremely close to the wall, and yet no one does anything about it. The goal is allowed to stand. Very strange. And then we have the main piece, the big one. Exhibit C. Cucurella is right next to the wall. Reece James scores this free kick, by the way. And Cucurella is right next to a 4-person standing wall and one person who's lying down behind it acting as a draft excluder. Why was that allowed to stand? And again, the referee is looking right at Cucurella. He's looking right. He's got a, well, I don't know, maybe actually the Reece James is in the way of it, so it's actually poor positioning from the referee to begin with. But even so, maybe with the amount of hair that Cucurella has, he probably should be able to see Cucurella. VAR should be able to see this, and VAR should be able to chalk it off. If you're chalking off Eze's, you have to definitely chalk this one off as well. And the amusing thing from my perspective about this is the fact that Sky Sports put out a report on why Eze's goal was chalked off. In the report, they go on to explain the law and why obviously it was implemented in this situation. But the amusing part for me had been where they basically stated, has this happened before? Oh, it had happened before. And they actually used the Reece James example. And they stated this. It should have been ruled out. Should have been ruled out. But wasn't. Now, we know how tight Sky Sports are with the PGMOL. We know how, like, Howard Webb is best friends with everybody at Sky, seemingly. And we know that, obviously, Howard Webb has his own little show with Michael Owen. Be interesting to see if that little show with Michael Owen continues this season. Be interesting to see if this situation does get addressed by Howard Webb, if that is to happen. Be interesting to see if Michael Owen actually does bring up the Reece James example as a way of saying, why was this one allowed to stand, but this one wasn't? I doubt it, because it's Michael Owen and he's not a very good host. But let's face it, there is a first time for everything. But the point is that so far, we are one game into the brand new season, and there are probably at least 3 VAR issues that have occurred over the weekend alone. There may have been 1 or 2 more that maybe I'm forgetting, or maybe I didn't see because I didn't watch every game, of course, that happened from start to finish this weekend. But at the same time, it's scary. Like, this may have been right to have called it off because of a technicality and because of what the law states. But again, the consistency factor is going to be an issue, because if you're setting the precedent now, that's fine. But if something like this happens next week and it's not chalked off, there are going to be there are going to be a lot of questions. There are going to be a lot of questions to answer for. And as I say, this season alone, I mean, this season again, I'm going to try and be as consistent as I can on this. I'm going to try and be as fair as I can on this, because we have to call it out more and more. Otherwise, things don't change. And it seems that despite the fact we've had a lovely summer in which no one's been talking about VAR or referees or the PGMOL, and then the first game week back, we have 2, maybe 3, maybe even more incidents in which shows VAR and refereeing incompetence and inconsistency. And it only took 14 minutes for that to take place in the Liverpool versus Bournemouth game on the very, very opening day, the first game of the brand new season. So strap yourselves in, because this could be another long season of refereeing incompetence. I am baffled. I am completely baffled by this. But hey, look, I could be wrong on any of those. Let me know what you guys think about any of the situations that I talked about. Mainly this one, but on the Liverpool versus Bournemouth one, as I mentioned earlier. Or on the Man United Arsenal one. Or maybe there was another one this weekend that you seem to have a real issue with. Let me know what that is. Let me know what your issues with referees and VAR and the PGMOL is over the course of this past weekend, the opening game week of the brand new season. Let me know, people, down in the comments section. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will soon speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.